All right, welcome back, guys. I'm Mr. Rip, and today we're going to do a special one where I'm coaching my friend that used to play a lot, but takes like pretty long breaks in between, like usually several years at a time. So it's my friend Scott here, and it's not even showing me the last time he played, so I think it's been a few years. But if I remember correctly, he was around like Guardian Crusader level-ish, so he has 953 games. He's not like a total noob, but he needs a bit of a refresher on like what the game's like right now, what's been added to the game and stuff like that. So we might be looking at like patch notes and stuff like that, maybe looking at the map a little bit, and we'll see how it goes. All right. All right, Scott. So do you remember the last time you played?
Yes, 2021.
2021. Okay, it's been 2 years. So what has happened in the in the last 2 years? Oh my god.
Uh, I'm kind of aware because I do watch some videos or have been watching some recently. I know that there's a
Yeah.
bunch of map changes. I'm not up to speed with a lot of the hero changes. Like I haven't poured over patch notes or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, I know about the map changes. I know that there's the new rune types, including like wisdom rune and all that junk.
Mhm.
Uh, I know how they've changed neutral items. I kind of know generally map wide stuff.
Okay.
The more hero specific stuff, the item specific stuff, not so much.
Okay, so the last time you played was around 7.30, and I can't even tell what's different about this back then. So neutral items were still in the game. There's still the backpack. There's still a TP slot and all that stuff. So I
Mhm.
guess like what do you need a refresher on in particular then? Like what do you feel like you
It
don't
it's
understand about the game now?
so it's partly a thing of like I'm not in the right habit or the right mind space of like playing MOBAs because I really haven't played MOBA since 2021 or whatever.
Hmm.
Even then, I played it really slapdash and casual like.
Okay.
Um, and not only that, but like knowing, hey, on these heroes, these old things don't work anymore. Like,
Sure.
shit, man, do you still like dash for Radiance on Spectre? I don't fucking know. That kind
No.
of stuff. Yeah,
Right.
like
Okay. So,
with the exception of booting up my good friend Tort Delaney and his savior guides, like that's the
right.
best I could do, and I don't know if that's gonna be.
Yeah,
I don't even know if he
so
still updates that shit even so.
he does. So like Tortellini's guides, Immortal Faith's guides are good. The other thing I was gonna say would be you've got Dota buff as a resource. Dota 2 Pro Tracker is a nice resource. So like for instance, I remember you used to play a lot of Crystal Maiden, right?
A lot
So
of position 5 in general, yeah.
yeah, so you can see this right in Discord.
Oh, let me actually pull up your stream on that.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So like Crystal Maiden, this would be like top level, like what people are doing with CM at the top level, like pro level basically. That's like really the most where it's getting its information from. If you want like a general thing, you would use like Dota buff to see like how people are playing CM. Like this is the most popular build. These are the items people are going a lot. These are like good and bad matchups. The talents people are taking a lot. Actually, Dota Buff is a really good resource for this. Like, or not Dota Buff, Dota Plus.
Isn't
Because
it
if
like a
you,
paid thing,
it
paid
is,
subscription or
yeah, you
whatever?
pay it yearly, but you get a lot out of it. So there's like stat tracking and all this stuff. But the other nice thing about it is you can see things like this. You can see like their pick rate, their ban rate, and all that stuff. You can look at this right here, and it gives you a big list of like who the most played hero is right now. So like right now in Divine and higher, Treant has the highest win rate. Or yeah, he's still the highest win rate, and CM is pretty garbage. Let me see, where is she? She's 46%. So she's like not good right now. Um, but anyway, if you did want to see like trends on her, let me see, where did that go? There used to be a thing. See, they got rid of it. There used to be a thing that showed you like the most, like typically how people leveled her up, actually just right in here, but now they've gotten rid of it because of this new UI. So anyway, for that then, what I would do, just use this, use Dota buff, and use Dota Pro Tracker and see like if you can see corollaries there. People are still going Tranquil Boots, right? It's still these items. Um, And then obviously on the wiki, you can just read stuff. Like if you have like a couple heroes that you're going to play a lot, you know, just go reread their page and see if there's anything significant. And then another thing you can do, I think, yeah, you can do it in game as well. You can go to this changes page right here. I think you can see this in your own, right? You don't need Dota or Dota Plus for this. This is a nice thing they've added where it's like the patch notes, but only relevant to that hero.
Sure.
So like the last thing they did to her was her mana regen aura, like from when you played, was like the mana regen aura was stronger if you were near CM. That was a big one. And then it's just like numbers moving around. Oh yeah, there was a point where her arcane aura was giving you mana when she casts spells. That's gone. That doesn't do that anymore. And then you can see like 7.34, she got this terrible cyclone or crystal clone ability. And then also like her Ag Scepter allows her to move while she's ulting, you know, stuff like that. So I would just read through this on the heroes you actually care about that you're going to play and see like what's changed on them. Do your research. That's like the best thing. And then for gameplay, like you haven't played any games recently, right?
I played a bot match over my lunch break, so no, not really.
Okay. So when you do play some games, we can do like replay reviews and stuff like that and look at the actual like tactical and strategic decisions you're making. But until then, we kind of have to just hand you the resources and look at stuff, unless you have like a specific question about something, you know?
Not really. It's just like God, I just don't know.
Yeah, you just
The
don't know
the big
what's
thing is
up.
I just don't want to like hop in and just kind of get flamed for being shit because I haven't played in like 2 years or whatever. So
Sure. Well, another thing I do every now and then, I'll just like watch live games, right? So like, let's take this game here. We can watch this Lion, and we can see sort of how people are playing. Like, I don't know if you watch any like streams or if you watch pros playing. That can give you a pretty good idea of like how you're meant to be playing nowadays, like what the common like ward spots are and stuff, like common item builds, whatever. Um, there's also, I was going to show you, this right here is something that can be helpful if you do have Dota Plus or you decide to get it. You can look at like what heroes are getting played in each role in each bracket. So you can see like, you know, for instance, Windrunner is not being played as a support. She's only been playing mid, right? Because she sucks. Or, I don't know, what's another one? Tusk isn't being played as a 3. Or maybe that's something that was happening back then. Crystal Maiden's only ever a 5. She's never a 4. You know? At like high level.
sure.
Is that helpful at all?
Yeah.
Sort of.
Hopefully
Not
that will
really.
be uh stuff I can look up online. Because again, I don't have Dota Plus, so.
Sure, yeah. It's worth investing in. Like, if you are serious about getting back into Dota, it's definitely worth doing. But I
I figure if
know,
I hop in, do some games, see how it feels before making that decision. Really, like.
yeah. If it were me, if I was getting back into Dota, I would probably like maybe do like a bot match or two just to get my like mechanics back, and then I'd probably just do some turbo games to get like a general feel. And then from there, I would probably just start playing, you know. And don't worry about it, you know. Don't worry if you get things wrong. It's like you're probably gonna your MMR is gonna be probably pretty low anyway. So I don't think people are gonna have like very high expectations because they have implemented like an MMR decay.
According to my profile thing here, it says MMR 0 and 0% rank confidence. So I think I'm really on track for that highest
Yeah,
level
yeah.
gameplay.
So that's something else they've added. So that's pretty recent.
I, for
So
one, can't wait to delve into the very base of the trench.
it's not so bad, actually. So the way it works now is you have your MMR just like before. You also have an unranked MMR. And then you have this rank confidence. And basically, if this is low, you're going to gain or lose a lot more MMR like per game. And if it's high, it's pretty much just going to be like 25 MMR per game. So like I can show you right here with this thing. Let's turn this off. Let's do rank change. You can see like pretty much every game is like a maximum of like 27, maybe 24, something around there.
Mhm.
And then if we go way back to like, I don't even know when they implemented this change, but I think when I had my rank, when my rank confidence was low, because they'd done that on everybody at the same time, it was like 40. Yeah, I think I was like gaining or losing around 40. But it might be a lot higher, especially if you're doing like ranked calibration games. You might be gaining like 100 or 200 MMR per game.
I mean, so should I be? I feel like I shouldn't really be diving straight into like ranked stuff, just playing on ranked, unless that's not really.
No, I wouldn't.
Is
I
ranked
wouldn't
less
because you're
try
just
hard, or is it? Then I remember because I remember ranked used to be like real try hard shit, and so I kind
yeah.
of shied away from it in the first place.
No, it still is. It's pretty. It's like people are taking it more seriously. I personally wouldn't play ranked because you're like just at a massive disadvantage because you're having to relearn everything. So I would go relearn everything until you're like comfortable enough, and then go play ranked if you want to. I mean, you don't have to, but like usually when I go to play ranked, I'm only gonna play heroes that I'm like super confident on. I'm not going to experiment at all, and I'm going to limit myself to certain roles. I don't know if this existed when you played, but when you go to queue ranked, there's now like a role queue. Was that in the game back then?
I don't. I literally have never played ranked, even when I was actually like playing regularly. Had no interest in playing ranked.
Okay, so it used to be, and you can still do this, but not a lot of people do. There's like classic mode, which is just like all pick and unranked, just like that. And then there's role queue, and so basically all that is you just pick the roles that you're interested in playing, and then like let's say I really wanted to just play mid for a game, right? It's like when we go in, I'm going to be assigned mid, and everyone else is going to get like safe lane, off lane, 4 and 5.
Spending role queue games. You have like a limited number of those?
Yeah, you do. So you have this pool right here if you mouse over this. So I have 13 games remaining. If I choose the core roles, it's going to spend one. If I choose any one specific role, it's going to choose one. If I choose both of the support roles, or if I party with somebody that gets both the support, we each take one of them. You don't spend any and you don't gain any, and that's because people don't like to play support as much, right? And then also, if you queue for everything, or like the combination of your party, like let's say you play with a friend and he takes all 3 of the core roles and you take both support roles, you gain 4 role queue games if you win, or 2 if you lose.
Gotcha.
So, and this is a nice way to just focus on like one role at a time, which is really the trick to actually like ranking up, is like focusing on specific heroes in specific roles, like not bouncing around and changing it up every game, which is like something I used to do. And I didn't get out of like legend until I started like basically spamming, you know what I mean? So that's kind of important. So usually when I play ranked, I just queue both support roles.
So looking now, it seems like that's a problem for apparently 100 hours from now.
Yeah, it won't even let you play ranked, right, until you have 100 hours.
I mean, Steam says I have over 1,000 hours, but apparently those are too long ago.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, then you just play unranked, play turbo, see how it goes. It's not like that different, really. I mean, there's probably like meta differences, obviously, but it's still Dota, right? It's still like go kill them and try not to die and then take all their towers and buy items. Like it's not like that much different. It's just the specifics.
So I guess specifics would be, especially with the new map change. I've been watching some like purge videos and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But is there any good reference for like, hey, here are like the new ward spots and like the that kind of stuff now with the changed map stuff and all that?
There's definitely resources for that. You can find videos on that. And another thing, I think this used to be in the game, but let me check real quick. I'm just gonna make a custom lobby and like jump in. If it's gonna work. Is it gonna work? Really? Okay. Wow, that took 10 seconds.
Well, look what we've got here. You come to pick a fight, have you, sunshine? Oh, pig.
Okay. So I think this used to be in the game back when you played, but there's like these little eyeballs.
Yes,
you,
I
like,
know about those,
spots.
but I've also heard that those are basically idiot traps because everyone checks those and stuff like that.
No, it's mixed. So basically,
I like how to demonstrate this you've chosen like the slowest hero to run around the map.
Yeah, good point. I did buy boots though. I think I could enable
Forward.
cheats as well. Let me see. Is he gonna let me do it? Hey, there we go. Cool.
Swiftly.
Yeah, they're on right now.
Not yet.
Okay.
Here
Cool,
I come.
got it. So yeah, these types of wards are gonna give superior vision. So basically,
Into the breach.
try to avoid warding just the mountains, unless you're gonna be fighting in this area and your team's gonna like be near this. So like, let's say you're gonna push this tower, right?
On.
And your whole team's gonna be here. It can be worth dropping a ward here just to be like, well, we want superior vision for this fight. You know what I mean? Or say over here, like you're going to invade their triangle. Like, okay, get a ward down here because we're gonna play in this area. Basically. Other than that, though, what I would do is, let me see if I can do.
Started.
It's all fun and
No,
games
I need
until
observer.
someone's
That's it.
frozen solid.
No. What the fuck? I can't remember what the command is for it.
I thought
Whatever,
so.
it's fine. So I like to do like basically what I do is I plan my wards that are hard to find around people centering these. So you can hold Alt to see the circle, right? That's not new,
Yeah.
right? You used to be able to
No,
do that.
I think that was in that and like the squares around the camps. I think it was old.
Okay,
I think that was
so
in.
another thing they've added on that is you can see when to stack and when to pull, and you can also
Is that not
ping.
is that not a Dota Plus thing? 'Cause I think that used to be Dota Plus only.
I think they made it a normal thing, but you can also ping it, so you can be like, I'm gonna go stack. But anyway, what I would do is like maybe go into a custom lobby and just sentry all the mountains, you know? So say like over here, this is a good example, right? People will just sentry this to look for a ward. So anything outside of that is a decent ward spot. Like if I put an observer like right here, you know, sees mostly the same area, but in order to find it, they're gonna have to put a sentry over here like this, you know? They can't just do this and find it. Same thing like over here, like people will put an observer here. I really need to know
Let's
what
go.
that fucking command is for that. Let's see. Cheats. No, that's not the one I wanted.
I think that is the one you want, isn't it?
No,
Observer
that's to
underscore
get rid of all of them.
Have you seen that?
Item Ward Observer is what it's called. Okay, great. That worked? No.
I'm seeing underscores in there.
There we go. Okay, so I might ward like over here. Be another one. Always behind towers is still a good one. An example of like you want decent vision here, but you don't want to put it up there. Like these little spots. There's a couple of these around the map. That's a decent one. Maybe you think like if they're gonna look for a ward here, they might like sentry like this, you know? So the ward here could be good. Over here. I mean, we could do the entire map, but it's basically like a rule of thumb is if you want the ward to survive,
Tower is under attack.
don't put it on a high ground. Put it on an area that's like a little bit lower value. So like instead of warding here, you know, put your ward like here or over here, you know? Or instead of warding up here on this, put it like here. Or maybe here or something, right? Let's see, there's other tricky ones too, so there's some nice ones like this that see into the camp. That's another one there. I could do like a whole video on this, but you know, always behind towers is good. There's some nice D-ward spots too, like this one where we can see two high grounds. And then we can always check one and then like put a ward on the other one, right?
Here I come.
That's another tip for warding, just in general. If you have a spell like on CM,
Look, you've been in the tower.
where it gives you vision,
Andy.
try not to put your sentries up top. Like, go greedier with them. Like, if you want to check this, like, put it here so that it's catching this spot and the middle and this, and then just use your spell to find the only place you can't see, right? Don't waste a sentry like this on, like, CM or Jakiro or Venge. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. And then the only other thing I would say is be careful about putting wards in range of where people are going to do a camp, right? So, like, if they're going to block the camp...
Trying to block it. Like...
Yeah, exactly. So I can't really afford to put an observer ward anywhere in this giant rectangle. And then it would kind of be the same thing over here, too. So that means on this edge of the map where they might observer like this,
Yes.
or sentry, I mean, just to block your camp. You can't really afford to do it here either. So there's really no good spots to ward over here if you're playing top lane. Sometimes I'll try and get away with like this observer ward or something, but I'm never going to put it like here because that's instantly going to get dewarded just incidentally from people trying to block or deward the camps, right?
Sure.
So another place people put it is actually put it in the lane to see under the tower. They put it behind. These gates are important to ward, and I don't think it's like bad advice to just say like, go ahead and ward these so you can see Roche movements,
Into
you
the
know?
breach.
And usually, same thing, put these in the corners. If you put them closer to Roche, you'll be able to see... I don't know why these are infinite and these other ones aren't. It's very
I
annoying.
thought as much.
Right, come on.
Oh, wait, maybe I need to do this. No, that didn't work. I don't know what's going on with it.
Your bottom tower.
My sentries are infinite and my observer wards aren't. But anyway, you put this ward here, you can see it like sees all the way here, but if I put it over here, actually there's a little like sliver where they could sneak in. And it's actually the same thing over here.
To battle.
Just blink across the map.
I mean, you also just use the teleporter.
I could, but I think that's actually faster. Anyway,
Sure.
same thing over here. Like if I put it back here, you know, I'm not going to actually be able to see
Here I come.
them walking in. So usually closer to the Roche pit to see that, farther from the Roche pit to see them like TPing into these outposts here.
Let's go.
So one I really like. Can I do like a
Oi, your
Can I
top
do
tower
this?
is under attack.
Just give myself like a million of them? No.
Indeed.
I like this ward for this. You know, it's like kind of hard. You have to like look for this ward, right? But you're gonna see the TPs. That's like the main thing. You want to see where people are TPing, and if it's gonna be a fight in an area, you want to get high ground vision, so it's easier to target spells. Other than that,
Your middle
you're
tower
like
is under attack.
kind of okay with having a ward that doesn't show that much, only to see like rotations happening. You know, so an example might be like this ward, which really only tells you if someone's moving through these steps or over here.
Into the breach.
Cypher. Yeah. Is that kind of giving you a good guideline for that?
Yeah.
Sure. Obviously, another thing you can prioritize, especially if you're going to be playing support a lot, are these 7-minute wisdom runes. So these respawn every 7 minutes, and I would try and just make sure you're here every 7 minutes, like
Forward.
up to about 21 minutes, so 7, 14, 21. Just get here ahead of time, because these are super important.
Yes.
There's no more Tome of Knowledge, so if you get these stolen from you, you end up super underleveled. So yeah, it's kind of like
Your middle tower. Are you
7 minutes, get these, do your wards, you know, try and go up mid with the power rooms, things like that, make stacks. And there's a lot more emphasis right now in general, so like this is a little meta thing. There's a lot more emphasis on the side lanes than there is mid, and it's because of these gates, basically. Because it's really easy to rotate back and forth between the lanes, and like if one lane collapses, it kind of screws everything. So, which is kind of the same as it used to be, but it's actually okay to not worry about roaming as much as you might have before.
Swiftly.
Like it's sort of okay to just kind of camp your lane for a long time. Like even now, like I think the games we played earlier, like I was still playing the lane like 9 minutes. You know, some games you get to roam a little bit more and that's fine. Some games you just have to stay there in lane with the core, right?
I'll not argue.
And it pays off.
So what's the new rule of thumb timer for when, as a 4 or 5, you should be leaving the lane and kind of moving around a bit more? Like,
There
it used to
isn't
be,
one.
like-
It's
Okay.
so that question is actually the last coaching session I did, which I haven't put up yet, but when I do, that was the question. Like, hey, when am I allowed to leave the lane and go make stacks and go roam and stuff like that? And the golden rule, the main answer to that question is you're only really allowed to leave the lane
Let's go.
if the core is able to farm. So like, if you leave and then he's not allowed to walk up to the creeps anymore, like he just instantly gets zoned out, then you can't leave him. But if he could go into the jungle, like let's say it's like an axe, right? And the axe is like level 4 or 5 and he has his vanguard, like yeah, you can leave him because he can actually just start jungling. You know, like he's not just like halting his farm because you're not there anymore. Like he has other things he can do. The only other thing I would worry about is if they're like diving someone under tower, you know, like rotate to that, you know, maybe like, but it's harder at lower ranks because people are not they're not good at playing solo. So like you leave them and then they just instantly die. But
I'll not argue.
so it's gonna feel wrong most of the time when you do rotate, but at a high level, you should be able to move around the map a little bit more. You just don't want to be abandoning the guy when he's like level 2, you know what I mean? And he can't do anything yet. Basically, like once he's self-sufficient, you should be able to leave him. You don't have to, but that's basically it. Like, yeah. And that's going to be on a case-by-case basis. So like a hero like, you know, Drow or Ricky, who's like kind of useless on their own, they might need you to like babysit them a little bit more. But a hero like Juggernaut or Axe or Bristleback or whatever, like heroes with AoE that are also tanky and have some kind of sustain, you can leave them a lot earlier. Does that answer the question?
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of does. Yeah.
What I would say is if you want some really easy like times when you would be leaving the lane, it's 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes. Because that's the river rune, the power rune, right? Like a DD or a haste or something.
Yeah.
It's the wisdom rune, and then it's the next power rune. Like those are higher priority. Still, sometimes you don't have time to go do that, but those would be the things you would be rotating for. It would be like those rune timings, and it would be if someone's getting dove under tower, TP to that, and then that's kind of it. There's lots of little bonus objectives, you know. There's like the bounty runes, there's water runes, I'd say, watchers, and these lotus pools. But these are not like, no one is like gonna fucking like drop what they're doing and TP to go grab a watcher or a lotus pool, right? Like they're minor objectives. They're not like drop what you're doing important. Even warding too. I would say like warding is not like a high priority thing that you need to go drop what you're doing and go do it. It's more like your approach to warding should be like, is it safe for me to walk over there and do that anyway, even without wards? Well, then it's safe to like ward it. So you're typically gonna rely on wards where like you already have control of the map. And then if you want to get sneaky wards down, that's when you like move with teammates while you're smoked. Like don't, you know, you can't just like, you know, fucking walk into the enemy triangle and drop a ward and expect to like not die, right? Like that has to be, because you don't control the area, that has to be like a team effort kind of thing where you're going to spend resources to do it. Other than that, it's like, okay, we have control of this area. I'm allowed to walk here on my own and not die, so we can ward it safely. I hope that's answering the question somewhat.
Yeah. No, it kind of does.
Okay.
So then with that timing there, you said like the 7 minute rune timing for the wisdom room. That's more of a position 4 responsibility, then I take it, because like there's no real way a position 5 is gonna go like contest that.
That's a good question. Okay, so my approach to that is yes. Usually, because the Wisdom Rune is in the off lane, the 4 is going to back up and go grab theirs. So Radiant's going to do that, and Dire's going to do that. But if you're winning your lane, like even as a 5, it's worth it for you. Like if the, let's say I'm like laning with a Juggernaut, right? You know, if he has his small camp right here and he's full health and he's fine, like I will totally be like, hey, I'm gonna go try and snipe their rune, and I'll fucking sneak out over here at like 6:30, and I'll try and steal their rune. And even if I die for it, I'm like, yeah, whatever, because it would have been like sick if you stole it. Like it's actually worth the risk.
Sure.
Like if you steal it and they kill you, it's still kind of worth it. If you steal it and they don't kill you, it's like a disaster for them. The worst thing ever is when you go rotate to do it and then they kill you and you don't even get it. That kind of sucks. But even then, you could argue that it's like, well, you're forcing them away from the lane, you know? But they're important enough where it's like it's worth going and feeding trying to get it, for sure.
Let's go.
Gotcha.
But not if the carry is just completely zoned while you're doing that. Like sometimes,
Yeah, like if they're in a good position, then like,
yeah, exactly. Like I think it's more important. It's probably what's going to happen in most games. It's similar to like the bounty runes. Is both teams are just going to back up and take their wisdom rune, and that's it. It's the same thing with bounty runes. Like both teams are just going to take 2 bounty runes right when they spawn in the in the river and everything. Like you're not going to always have like a knockdown drag out fight for all 4 runes. Usually people are content to kind of just trade, or go even on them. So don't feel like as the 5 you have to be going over here and doing this all the time, but it is a nice little bonus, like a way to accelerate your team and yourself. Just keep in mind the wisdom rune gives XP to both you and the other lowest person on your team.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's a big XP swing. Anything else you're curious on? We're at like 30 minutes now.
No, that should do for theory. I think I just have to hop in and see how it plays out,
Okay, for sure. Alright guys, if that was helpful, don't forget to check out the playlist at the end of the video. I have other coaching videos, and I have some resources if you're returning to the game. So I did like a map change overview when 7.34 happened, talking about the Tormentors and the Wisdom Runes. That actually shows all the timings in it, so you can have a look at that. And check me out on Twitch. I stream every weekday, 2:30 p.m. PST onwards. And I also coach people live on my stream. And if you're interested in getting coached, hit me up in the comments or in my Discord. And I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.